Hello everyone, this is Tom Fox and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is an offering of the Compliance Podcast Network. November 2, 2018. We have 4 stories for you today. First, Maryland fired its football coach, DJ Durkin, one day after the Systems Board of Regents reinstated him. Next up, really big news in the 1MDB scandal. We had a guilty plea and 2 indictments. Next, a new study shows the monetary cost for reputational damages is higher than anticipated. And finally, a story by Leslie Caldwell and Christopher Ting, and they talk to us that compliance is still critical to the Department of Justice. We also take a look at today's offering in Adventures in Compliance. So the Maryland story was very interesting because the Board of Regents had reinstated the coach, yet the public outcry was so great among players, students, politicians, and even the governor that the president felt emboldened to terminate him. This was after the president basically had to resign because he wanted the coach fired and the Board of Regents refused to do so. At least they finally got it right on the second day. The Goldman story is our headline for today because this has been a long-running scandal and it really scandalized the country of Malaysia and led to regime change. And the former chairman of Goldman Sachs in the Southeast Asia, Tim Leissner, pled guilty to FCPA and money laundering conspiracies with a plot to loot the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund, 1MDB. He was ordered to pay back $43.7 million in restitution. Also was a 3-count indictment involving Roger Ng, who was also a former Goldman Sachs managing director. Also indicted was the mysterious Jho Low, who is believed to be in China. Mr. Ng was arrested in Singapore. This is the first individual indictments in the 1MDB scandal. It's a huge scandal going forward. Next, we had a very interesting story in the Wall Street Journal Risk and Compliance Journal by Mingyi Sun, which found more than half of public companies suffered material reputational damages, causing them to lose as much as $180 billion in revenue. This is really the first time anyone has looked at reputational damage as causing money. And finally, a story from Leslie Caldwell, formerly number 3 at the DOJ, where she and Christopher Ting tell us that the Department of Justice under Sessions is really continuing its desire to have greater compliance by companies, and the approaches taken are a continuation of policies that she and her colleagues set forth during the Obama administration. Finally, I take a look at Sherlock Holmes as a leader and what lessons that you can draw as a chief compliance officer for that in today's Adventures in Compliance. This is Tom Fox again. I hope you've enjoyed this initial episode of the Daily Compliance News, and I hope you will check back every day as I go through some of the top stories. Once again, if this is a series that you enjoy or like or you find useful, I hope you will let me know as I consider whether I will move this forward into 2019. Please give me an email at tfox@tfoxlaw.com, or you can leave a comment on any of the sites where I list this podcast. Thanks again, and I hope you'll join me tomorrow for the Daily Compliance News.